here we are at devlog number 3 for my game, which is codenamed Project Elysian for now until I figure out what to actually call it. Um, this is just a documentation of me making this game, everything I'm learning, all the mistakes I'm making, and just all the rest. This intro is probably going to be kind of chaotic because I've been really bad about recording. So I have about a week and a half's worth of work that I need to go back through and talk about. And a lot of it is a little fuzzy right now. So we'll kind of see. It's going to be a struggle, but I will fumble my way through it, I'm sure. But without further ado, my name is Jonathan Haile, and I'm a game design student. So let's get into this. All right. So the very first thing I've been doing was I removed the gameplay effect for damage because that was just sort of a placeholder thing, and I made an actual damage calculation system. So I did that by using an Excel calc, which I will show you here. If you just give me a singular moment. So basically what I did is I made a custom gameplay effect context, and that's just kind of what you're seeing here, to kind of just capture all of my resistances and different types of damage and like block chances, critical hits, all of that, because the gameplay effect just couldn't really do that. But this is allowing me to do that. So I'd go ahead and create this. Let me open up the public folder for it as well. Again, I'm not going to go through and talk about it. The public folder is pretty simple, but there's a lot of back-end work. And then I'd go in and replace a lot of things and all of this stuff to the side here, see, because it was using the gameplay effect, and I just had to swap everything out. But long and short of it, instead of just talking about how I did that, I can show you what the actual results were. Well, I guess first you can see like now I have the damage calculations here. It takes into account effective armor, armor penetration, and critical hit resistance. And then I'm able to do like damage curves. This is what it is right now. See right here. So yeah, there's that. But essentially, what I've been able to do is, well, hopefully I'll be able to show you. So that's just a normal hit of 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay, hold on. Hopefully we're going to see something happen here. So critical there. You saw that it was critical, way more health. Take out. So let's see if I can get a block here. I should be able to. Then the critical, so you saw like I'm doing 10 and there's 29. Another critical. All right, come on, please give me a block. Please give me a block. Well, we might not get a block. I promise it does happen. It's just deciding not to happen right now. So that's fun. If I get through all these guys, okay, there we go. So normal damage is 10. That was a 5. You saw the block there. So yeah, the damage is still working. It's just way more advanced now, and I'm going to be able to evolve it as I go and actually like make sure I'm implementing all the resistances and whatnot, which I will talk about later because I've already done it, or at least in some sense, not fully, but yeah. So that's that. Just kind of overhauling damage. Very happy that now it's a lot cleaner and more advanced system. And just kind of using a gameplay effect just really felt messy, and now it's a little cleaner. So let's jump into the next thing. Another thing I probably should mention, which I won't be able to really explain because honestly I just blacked out and followed a tutorial to do it. I implemented net sterilization to kind of go along with that custom gameplay effect and that exact calculation. So what that does is kind of, it's a better way of storing and reading data, just so I can actually, like I said, I was talking about how I was implementing all the resistances and damage values, and just, it's a better way to track all that. Genuinely, like, I'm not a programmer. I've said that a million times. I didn't understand it, but I did successfully implement it. So there's all that. I truthfully wouldn't even know how to explain what I did. Like I said, that was like a week ago too. So I really did just kind of black out a lot of that, but that is now in the game and it is working properly. I know that much. And so doing the damage and net sterilization took up the bulk of time, but you probably already saw when I was playing that I did do some more like notifications for like when you hit something, just to give that player feedback and give them that information and like just kind of a visual enticement for when you do damage things. So you can see, first of all, it says what type of hit you got. So it says critical right there. It pops up real fast. And criticals are red. Blocks are yellow. And then if it's a blocked critical, or no, I'm sorry, a block is blue. and if it's a blocked critical, it's a yellow, and then there's normals white. Um, Blocked criticals are really rare, so we probably won't see that, but you can see right there that it's red text. Hopefully I can get it block, and just like normally it's just 10 damage. I don't have any like text for just a normal hit because that felt a little redundant. Again, I probably shouldn't. I went over this already. You saw like the block probably just minutes ago without recording this. I would like to see if I can get a block critical. I could go in and treat like that, or not treat. What's the word I'm looking for right now? Trick the values, or kind of just like alter the values to give me a block critical on my test attributes, but trust me, it's there. But to do that, I also had to go into the UI. Loading text here. So it's obvious, it looks bad right now, but basically have this text block in there, have an animation go for it. So you get to play, just kind of it like gets big, gets small, and moves a little bit, nothing crazy, and fades out. So I had to create that. And then there was this whole little thing of trying to or have to display the messages. I'm sorry I can't speak. Like I said, this is going to be messy, and I'm just also bad at talking. So we have this function here that is get hit message, and so I just have these bunch of branches. If it's like a block and a crit, block no crit, then it plays the message block. If it's a crit no block, it plays message crit. If it's a block and a crit, it displays the message block critical. And then if it's a nothing, it obviously does nothing. So there's that, and then it goes in here and claps down to a function. I set the text here, and then I set the color. Oh, did I just crash? I don't know. Okay, no, something weird just happened. That's okay. But anyways, so you can see here. So this is kind of like how it works. It gets like the hit damage. Sets it as block. I set the block and crit just so I can use these right here instead of having a bunch of wires, because the wires are really messy. But then I get the color based on the block and crits. I set the color already. Set text color. Get hit message. Then this is how it finds the value. Set the text. Again, set color. Set text. Set color. Just kind of repetitive stuff here. You see here. Sorry. Yeah, and then just have it call to play the animation right there. But yeah, that's kind of what this is. And then obviously I probably should have showed this when I was talking about how the block and crit. This is just designating what color. So I have a blue, red, yellow, white, and there's all that. So yeah, that's fun. And I have done one more thing that I want to talk about in this little section of the devlog. So let's jump into that. So I talked about how I was able to, or with like the new damage system, I'm able to actually have a lot more advanced type of damages. And so I have implemented arcane damage, fire resist, or I've not implemented the damage yet, but I've implemented arcane resistances, fire resistances, physical resistances, and lightning resistances. That's a hard word to say for some reason for me right now. A lot of S's going on. I don't know. So first of all, I just had to define it in gameplay tags. Just boring backhand code stuff. See it all right here. So where are they at? Where did I set them? Where did I set them? Right here. So it's just like defining like what is lightning damage, what is all that, then defining the resistances, all that. God, I can't say that word. It's really embarrassing, but that's fine. And just having the gameplay tags in there so I can get them and set them in Unreal Engine. And so I had to make some modifications to the projectile spell and enemies and like player controller. Also like the attribute sets, because I have to implement those attributes, or I have to implement how the attributes are talking to each other, because all your resistances are linked to your resilience to give you a reason to invest in resilience. And basically getting out of the code mumbo jumbo stuff in the game. So as you spec into I guess I should probably get these to the enemy attributes. I guess I should probably go to Aurora's secondary attributes. So you can see here, right here. So this is setting. So I set fire resistance through the gameplay tags thing, which so this is why I have the gameplay tag so I can set it through here. So Aurora attribute set fire resistance. Set as override. It's attribute based, and then that backing attribute is your resilience. I have it set as target, and then a coefficient of 0.5, and then a post multiply additive value of 3, and that's the exact same for lightning resistance, physical resilience, and arcane resilience, or resistance, not resilience. Just kind of having those base values there, just so probably just placeholder now, but like now it does work. So the higher your resilience is, the higher your resistances are. So there is all that, and then I also had to, of course, set it here, or then to get into the attribute menu, which I'll show you in a second, I had to define like what these attribute tags were that I created. So attribute resistance to arcane, it's arcane resistance, and little description resistance to arcane damage, and then just the same for the rest of them. Very boring, mundane stuff, but and then you can see here attributes. You can see that now you can see what those are. So I have a 9 fire resistance, light resistance. If I was to increase my resilience, which I don't have, I could do it on the back end, but not here in the menus yet, those values would go up. And then enemies can also have a resistance to fire and stuff. So I have a fire spell currently because the player character is a mage or an elementalist, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what I'm going to call it my world yet. Probably mage. But so she, right now, her attacks are fire damage. And let me go into the secondary attributes of these guys. And so you can see I set the, oh no, I'm sorry. Here we go. So I set that they have a fire resistance, override, scalable float. And right now it's at 0, so you're doing 10 damage, right? That's your baseline attack, 10 damage. But if I set it to 50, which I was having issues with it not working, and then I refreshed and recompiled, and it was working, so if it doesn't work, I'll just have to refresh and recompile, and you're just going to take my word. So let me do that. So base damage is 5 usually, but when I increase the resilience to fire to 50%, now it's 5, right? Or, and just to show that again, if I was to scale it up to, I don't know, let's just do 100 because making them vulnerable. So since I'm using a fire spell, nothing happens to them because they are completely resistant to fire. So I set that, and my fire spell, this is a fire attack, I defined it, and that's the great thing about gameplay tags. All this just kind of works, and I love it so much. So yeah, there's that. Again, it's not that exciting. I'm gonna set it back down to 0 because this is for testing purposes. What else could I show you? I don't know. There's probably things I should be going over that I'm just spacing on, and I'm gonna be upset when I end the video. No, there's really nothing. I mean, with my UI and stuff, I obviously had to upgrade the attribute menu, but that really wasn't like a huge deal. It's just going in and adding these new rows and variables, and then going into my graph. And so like this is how everything's read here. So these are like the prime attributes, the primary attributes, secondary attributes, and it's the exact same thing for the resistances. Just set the gameplay tags that I created, and then it's not anything crazy, very simplistic, but it works perfectly. And maybe I should change the color. What are we thinking? Oh, I don't know. Green? Sure. Love it. Fantastic. Anyways, that kind of concludes me horribly going over what I've been doing for the past week and a half. Hopefully I'm going to be better about updating in the future. I don't know. I just got busy and I was just working. I was like, okay, I don't have time to record, but it doesn't matter. All this is going to be a continuous thing anyways for you guys, whoever's watching, but I will see you later on the video, which for you is like a second from now. I now have some basic AI for my enemies. I'm using behavior trees. It's the first time I ever used them, so I'm still learning. My explanation might be a little messy here, but I'm going to try my best. Before I get into like how it works, I'm just going to show you how my 2 enemy class types are set up so far. So I have the ranged and melee. So you can see here, so with the ranged attacker, he's obviously always going to try to get close to me to hit me. And I don't have the attack done yet, but that purple debug spear is for the attack. So you can see he attacks once, waits, attacks again, and he's always moving to a new location just so he doesn't stand there in front of you, just hitting you the entire time. So just one attack, move, one attack. Actually, I probably need to make that delay slightly shorter, but you can get the base idea of it. And then the ranged attacker, so you see if I run away, he will follow me to a certain distance. Right now I have it set at 600. So once he gets within 600, he stops and he starts firing at me. He also has the same functionality, like kind of always moving to a different position, just to add more variety to his movement paths and make him harder to hit, and so he's not just standing still. You see if I run away, I'll come closer and continue to attack. It's also working with geometry, so they are smart enough to go around geometry and always find me. Anyways, that is done through behavior trees, which, again, very new for me. Honestly, everything's new for me because I'm learning how to make games. But so I've set up through a blackboard, and so I have the root here, and then I have a selector that has this decorator for find nearest player, and you can see what that is here. Just find nearest player, set close. It's a whole bunch of things that I probably don't need to go through and talk about. But so finds nearest player there. Go back to my blackboard, and then have some basic blackboard conditions. Set target to follow. Hit reacting is not set, and so I have my custom blackboard keys here, which you can see, which is hit reacting, range attacker, move to location, distance to target, target to follow, and self actor. There's all those. And then I have my base kind of functionalities here. So for range attacker, it gets into fire position, and I use this with my own custom EQS, which also I'm still kind of confused about, but I think, well, I know it's how it finds where I am. That's kind of how it's like knows where I'm at, which I can showcase here in this map. So this is my custom test actor. And so this is just kind of how it finds where, like how close I am. So like you can see if my player's not, like right now, she's not in that radius. So this, like pretend this is the goblin. So would not even recognize her at this point. Would not even look at her. Not a threat. The closer she gets, the more of a threat that she is. It's just kind of how it judges distance. I have it set up as a grid right now, but if I, well, first that's how it's finding her. Gets actor as a class or a character, but I have it set up as a grid right now. So if I could change this as to be way bigger, like so, you can see right there, just kind of their visibility, and you can also see here if I'm behind something, it won't recognize me. That's what that blue means, and it's also not tracking things with inside assets. Since it's just kind of all behind the scenes stuff, it doesn't really matter, but it's how it knows where I'm at. But anyways, let's go back to blackboards here. Well, let me, first of all, I'm going to reset this to 500. Oops. Oh, I'm panicking. I can't. Oh my god. I promise you I know how to type. Make you promise. Alright. So that is my custom EQS, which I will be fleshing out. And I'm still learning about. So I'm sorry for that bad explanation, but no, let's just, we don't need to save any of that. Okay, where is that? So behavior trees. So it gets that, gets fire in location, move to location. Let's say here's my blackboard key. Attack. I have a task for attack. Right now, this is all this because this is what I'm doing next is making an attack for all my characters. But right now, it's literally just gets the active location and draws a debug spear, and then finishes the task. So there's nothing too exciting there yet. And then it waits about 1 to 0.5 seconds before doing it again. I will be definitely playing with those times because even just looking at now, it was a weird timing. And the melee attacker has the function to get close, which is set here, except the radius is 20 meters. That's the, like that's how close it has to get. And the black key is target to follow here. and then it attacks, which again, just the same thing. Finds new location. That's how you were seeing it. Hits once and then it goes around, finds a new place to hit, and then I have that on a time limit there. So basically, if it the time limit is set there. So if it doesn't find a new location, it tries again just so it doesn't get confused. It doesn't get stuck in some loop. And this is how the move to target works. It's close enough to approach, it's far enough to approach, wait, move to. Let's see here. Let me go into my AI trees. So you can see the tasks all there. Here I've set up, which I already kind of showed you, but like this is the go around target. So it kind of like loops around the target again, finding those new locations, and then I already showed you these, the nearest player, and the BT attack. And yeah, so that's just kind of what I've been doing. Next out, I'm going to start doing like the melee and range attack. So that will be the video, or not the video, the section of the video right after this. So I don't know how that's going to work out. Hopefully it works out great, but I guess you'll see in a second here. All right, I think it's time for another update because I've just been working away. There is a brand new character now, or brand new enemy, I should say. This ghoul sort of character, and he's very slow, does heavy swipes. So I've been working on him. And then through him, I was making a lot of changes to like the attack system, which all my characters use. Just was running into some issues and was able to make things a little more tighter and clean. And then I've also been working on the ranged enemy, kind of adding a functionality to him. And so now he can shoot things with the slingshot. There's an animation associated with that. Still iterating on that, still working on it. But I will show you that here later. But let's start out with this ghoul. So to start out, let's see what this ghoul actually does. He's a warrior type. He's very slow moving. He does like big swipes. He's gonna do more damage than 4. He's just at level 1 right now. So it's just kind of the testing damage. But you can see right here, he can attack with his left and right hand. See how he's rotating attacks. He has that same functionality the Goblin Spears do, where they kind of hit and then reposition. To make him, I took notes to make this easier on me, but probably won't be much better than my previous explanations. But so first off, just make a child blueprint off of the enemy base class I have. Go into his skeletal mesh and set the sockets here. So I have to have one for right hand, one for left hand. And then make sure that I have a hit react montage for him. So if we go here to animations, we have this. Where's that? Bottom right here, you can see there's a hit react animation, and then I made a animated montage off of that. So just kind of pretty simple. Not a lot of notifies. Just he gets hit, it plays it. You know, that's kind of all it is. So there's that. And then to make a blend space for his idle walk run. All of this is kind of set up in the enemy base class already, so all I had to do was drag in his idle state at 0 and put his walk state at 100. You can see right there. And then make sure to just set that blend space in the animation blueprint on the enemy, and then set the animation class on the actual blueprint itself. Go into his character and adjust like rotation rates, walk speed, make an attack montage for him. So again, that's just in his animations. He has this attack left hand, right hand, and so I created a custom one for both of those. So you can see right here, attacks his left hand, and I have motion warping, notify event. In C++, I have the warp name to be facing target, and that's kind of how on all my classes they all know to turn towards the target and then place animation. If they're not facing the target, they're not going to do this animation. So it just kind of does a quick check. Then it knows to face the target before doing this. And if it doesn't, it'll find the target beforehand and then have this event. So this is like right on the attack wind up. This is basically, or right like when the attack hits, this is when I want to do damage, essentially. So set that there in the animations. And then just uncheck the rotation types on here, just because I have my own rotation, motion warping, and that is. So, root motion modifier, again, set facing target, and then have the rotation type be facing instead of default, and then the rotation method be a slurp, and then check warp translation, and then make sure that there's the proper attack montages and proper tags in the enemy base class. And I know I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but it's just kind of all these things that we said here. I can also like the character class. He's a warrior. I can change that to whatever I want, but I obviously want to be a warrior. You can see right here, I have to set that. So the walk speed here, base walk speed, 125. Attack montages, I have them set as attack montage, attack left hand, attack montage right hand, so the game knows, and then slot those in there. And then also the hit react montage right here. So again, with the enemy base, I already did all this groundwork and like made all these slots. All I have to do is like make all the aspects and put them in. As attributes, set all those. And then just like rotation types, movement, all that boring stuff. And then had to go in and I had to edit the materials that he has on his self to make that dissolve effect. Not very hard, honestly. All I really had to do was go in and make a instant of his ghoul material and then copy and paste the dissolve stuff into it. So you can see right here, it kind of tells you exactly what to do, so it's not too hard. Just what to hook up where. So I did that, and that was also like back to like the base enemy class, how he reads it. When they die, it plays that with swaps materials like that. So all things that are just pretty clean and simple to do. See here. And then I did make a lot of adjustments to the attack ability. So if we go right here, not that, abilities, G melee attack right here. I think I might have already showed this in the past, but this is kind of how it works. Playing that tag montage, setting the tag montage, update for the facing targets, wait for gameplay events, get players within live radius so it knows like how to seek out players, cause damage or end ability, and that's a function that's this is all done kind of in C++ right here. You can see boring stuff that I'm not going to talk about, but yeah, basically end result of everything I have a new enemy, so that is cool and that is really exciting for me. Also, he dies just like all the rest. Some criticals there, solves. So yes, there's that. And then my goblin slingshot guy, he's been made for a while, but just kind of adding functionality to him. I'm going to delete that ghoul. I'll drop it on one of these guys. He's still not working properly, really quite yet. There's a lot of things to work out with him, but going slingshot here. He does fire, and there is so you can see right here, he plays that animation. I need to make those projectiles not collide with me, but you can see, because I don't want that. I don't want it to kind of, I don't know what it's colliding with. That'll be something I sort out later. But you can see he is working, and I essentially just had to make a custom animation for the slingshot, which involved a whole lot of work, way more than I thought it would be, but we got it working out. I had to add some new slots to the slingshot, and then create an animation like this for it. So this is how he knows to grab where that slingshot is, and then pull it back every single time he wants to fire. So I have a animation notify for release rock and animation notify for grab pouch. So there is that. In order to make this guy and actually had a functionality, because I had the melee attack, I didn't have the range attack set up quite yet. I had to do some C++ stuff, but you can see here my enemies and abilities. So I had to make a blueprint crest. So this is basically based off of Aura's projectile fire spell, so it's the same sort of concept. I have this rock here. And actually, let me see if I can fuck around with the collision, because that is not right. Oh, no, I want collision on the speed. What's on my rock? Maybe that's it. Block all. No, I want no collision. Let's do a little testing and see if that's working. I think that might have been the issue with why I was moving around. There we go. Well, no, because now it's not doing damage. That is not working as intended. Feel about this. What happens here? Okay, well, I need to sort that out, but like I said, he's at least doing stuff, so that is a plus. Anyways, what I was trying to show is basically just basing this off a or projectile spell. Um, and making a gameplay ability for ranged attack here, very similar to the uh, melee attack, but spawning the projectile. I had to create a new damage curve and data, so I have all of my CT damagers here. It's pretty simple. It's a very simple curve. Level 1, you do what did I set that like 7.5, and then level 40, we're doing like 32. Yeah, 32 damage. So just make a curve and then setting all that in the proper slots. Um, so also like in the gameplay for the range attack, I had to make sure the proper tags were set. I have to go to class defaults here. So projectile class, make sure it's finding that rock, make sure it's using GE damage, make sure I'm setting the damage is not physical, and then having a what's the word? What's the word? Setting the scale to 1, and making sure the ability is dot range as the tag, and then ability tags again attack. So just kind of setting all that stuff. So all the systems that I've created prior can read it. So that was a lot of fun, but and then just on the character class for where's my goblin? Where's my goblin? Goblin slingshot. Just making sure all that's set too. It's using animation clash, goblin slingshots, which all this should be working. Make sure the motion warping's working because like the blueprints again, or not the blueprints, but in my animations, I had to create a few new animation montages and set that motion warping and whatnot. So I go to enemies here. Goblin, slingshots. Oops, no, hold on. Goblin. What file is it in? Slingshot, there we go. So making the hit react for the goblin again, and then the slingshot. So kind of the same thing you saw with the ghoul, having the motion warping set at the beginning where you're dealing damage, but then I also had to add in the grab pouch and release pouch, or release rock, grab pouch tags. So all that's talking to each other. But yeah, that's kind of just what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks here. Or not 2 weeks. The timing's kind of weird just because I don't have all the time in the world to work on this. But yeah, probably roughly like 2 or a week and a half. I've been working on these two guys. So yeah, I'm going to keep on working. I need to sort out this, why it's not, because it was doing damage earlier today. I clicked something and that broke it, but I'll figure that out. Yeah, well, actually, I think I probably will wrap up this devlog here just because looking at the time, like I have about 30, 35 minutes of clips. I don't need to get too long. So, gonna end it there. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Jonathan Haile. I'm a game design student. This is the documentation of me trying to make an RPG and something that's like actually has some good bones to it, and so I can tell a story and make a game that I'm really passionate about. So yeah, please stay tuned. Next devlog will probably be in roughly a month. Kind of my cadence currently, but we'll see with work and school and other things. But yeah, again, really appreciate you watching and stay tuned.